All right, everybody, we're gonna talk exes today. That's just what's gonna happen because I got an email from a subscriber and they wanted to know, hey Neo, is it possible for me to get an ex back? And I dedicate this email to you. I'm not gonna say your name to protect your identity, and I'm not gonna read out your whole email. I'm getting the crux of what it is that you wanted me to talk about, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So yeah, anyway, let's get started here. Can you get them back? Do you want your ex back? Yes and no. We could definitely get our exes back. It's possible, but it's not as easy as you would think. And it's also not 100% guaranteed. If you have this illusion that if you just say the right thing, if you do the right thing, it's going to make all the difference in the world, it might not. You might just not be able to get them at all. And that's something that you realistically have to be okay with. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Well, there's certainly a wrong way to do it. And let me tell you something right now. Don't listen to any dating coach that says, hey man, if you just give me $800 for my course, or you could just have a private consultation with me and I'll say exactly what it is that you need in order to get your loved one back. Run, okay? Buyer beware. There's always a caveat. It's not a guarantee. They might have some useful information that they can tell you because they've dug up and done a lot of research on this particular topic, and you might even gain some value off of it. But the one thing no one can do is guarantee you something when it comes to the matters of the heart. And you know why? Because realistically, your ex doesn't belong to you, okay? No one belongs to you, just like you don't belong to them. You don't own another human being, okay? They all have their own unique and compelling story that they have lived their own lives before they even knew you were a smudge on the wall. We all have lived our lives, so you can't expect to have ownership over anyone's time, over anyone's attention, over anyone for any reason whatsoever. That's just not a reality. It doesn't exist. It's not real. So stop trying to own people that don't belong to you. I'm going to tell you this much. If your ex breaks up with you, let it happen. Give them the breakup. I'm going to tell you why, because realistically, if someone breaks up with you, there was a lot of time that went into this. It's not a decision that was made lightly. They didn't just wake up one day and said, you know what? I gotta break up with you because I gotta maintain my frame and I'm an alpha and all that nonsense. Look, that's bull. When someone breaks up with you, it's done with a heavy heart. It's not something that's done just right away off the cuff. They've taken time to consider their feelings and emotions, and be mindful of this as well. People change all the time. We're fickle by nature. So they might have thought that they wanted to break up with you one day, and then the following day you were okay in their book. But now suddenly the following day comes along and they just don't want to be with you. Be okay with that. Do not try to manipulate them. Let them go. Because I'm going to tell you this much right now. If you have the gift of gab for whatever reason and you manipulate your ex into staying with you, it's not going to last. They're not going to be with you long term. And realistically, do you want to be with someone that you had to talk out of not wanting to be with you? If somebody comes to me and tells me, hey man, Neo, I don't want to be with you no more. You know, it's nothing personal, but then I'm going to let them go. Why would I want to talk someone that doesn't want to be with me back into wanting to be with me? It doesn't make sense, right? It's illogical. Your brain is short circuiting at that moment. We are logical people that do illogical things all the time, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. So let them go. It's pretty simple. Give them the breakup. Just be mindful of that. You don't own them. Let them go. Save yourself, save your dignity, walk away with your head high. Because if you had any respect left for your ex, and if they have any respect left for you, then just go. Because you will ruin whatever opportunity you might have going forward in the future to reconcile with them. If you make a scene, if you get emotional, if you get violent, if you tell them they'll never find someone else like you, listen, man, yes, they will. They'll find someone better than you, because realistically, that's the way the cookie crumbles and that's how life goes. Just let it happen. Focus on yourself. At this point, now you have to go into the rebuilding phase. You know, I know what's going to happen. You're going to wake up the next morning. You're going to get on their social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Well, probably not Twitter, but you're going to get on Instagram most likely, and you're going to stalk their story if they haven't blocked you already, or you'll make a separate account just to see how they're doing. And you're going to consciously type in the name of this former partner of yours to see how they're doing. You don't want to do that. I'm going to tell you right now, you're just going to make yourself miserable, because if you see them with somebody else, You're going to be extremely heartbroken. And yes, you might even contemplate offing yourself. And people do stuff like that. And let me tell you, from my own lived experience, I've had some pretty bad thoughts when I experienced this in the past myself, and I had to get over it. I had to find my own way. And let me tell you something, once you hit rock bottom, okay, once you have reached your lowest point, that's when you're the most open to change. And that's when you have to take the opportunity to change who you once were, because you're no longer that individual. Give yourself a month. Give yourself a month. And yes, I did pause for dramatic effect. If you give yourself the opportunity and the time to actually realize what is it that you really want, you're gonna see that over time, the pain and the hurt is gonna go away little by little. Because once more, time heals all wounds, and it will heal your psychological, your mental wounds as well. You might even seek therapy for this, or you might just get on YouTube and look at all these content creators to talk about this as well. Because there's a plethora of information available to help people that were hurt, you know, and this is what's available to us on the internet right now. Rebuild yourself. How do you rebuild yourself? I guess I can give you guys a couple of ways to help you do that. One thing that you want to do, first and foremost, go for a long walk. Okay, go for a walk that is so long that your legs are aching by the time you get back. You want it to burn. You want your heart to pump, because what often happens is that when somebody leaves you, you start to feel weak. You start to feel inferior, and you don't want to feel that way. Your heart starts pumping less blood because you're sad, you're emotional. In the beginning, it'll pump harder because it's happening. But once you've had time to settle down and you go into this like little depression period, you need to get your heart pumping. You need to feel something, do something difficult. Because when you're doing something difficult, you're not thinking about your former partner at that point. You're thinking about getting through this task. You're thinking about breathing, right? You want to think about your breath, because that's what's going to matter at that moment. You know, get home, take a shower, get something to eat, talk to your friends and family, utilize your support system. They are there for you, but to an extent, because there's a dark side to this, okay? There's a dark side to trying to use the people that are closest to you as a sounding board. In the beginning, they're going to want to talk to you. They're going to be like, okay, like, let us know what happened. But after a while, you will be a Debbie Downer to them, because realize that we as human beings have the ability to affect others with our energy. Okay. And we're no different. You're no different. We affect people with our energy. You want to know why I believe this? Check this out. Go to your friend's house one day, right? And tell them like your cat or your dog or your lizard died. Tell them somebody important is no longer in our plane of existence. I can guarantee you that smile that they had on your face the second you walked into the door will instantly become a frown. Now, why will it become a frown? Because now you change their mindset. You change their state of mind towards where they have to get their frequency back in check in order for them to console you, right? And most people don't deal with that well. Some people can, some people right away switch into this mode and be like, all right, you know what? Let's do this. Sit down, have some tea, have a glass of Jack, whatever the case may be. And we're going to get through this. But it's only to an extent, because if you repeat the same pattern over and over again, these people are going to get sick of you, whether they're your friends and family. Okay. So go to them initially for support, but at some point you have to find your reason why. You have to find the why to the how. And then afterwards you can move forward. Start working out. Lift some weights, do something difficult. I emphasize this so much because not enough people do it. A lot of people soak in their own self-pity. And let me tell you something, no one is going to be a part of your pity party forever. You will inevitably push people away from you if you do stuff like that all the time. Once you realize what you're doing, once you've gotten some control back of your life from what you formerly lost, you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to look at your ex's social media anymore. Do you know why? Because you're not the same person anymore. Enough time has passed that you are no longer time traveling to a point in whence you were formerly happy with this partner. You will progress with the rest of your life. You're going to wake up and not check your phone first thing. You're going to get up and use the bathroom instead. You're going to feel better. Your friends will ask you to go out. You'll have coffee, drinks, cake, food, whatever the case may be. You go to your work with a smile on your face, whether you like your job or not. And as time progresses and as time slows down, you're going to start to get over your ex because you were never under them to begin with. With that said, I hope that the individual that sent me this message got some value from this. I hope that any of you got some value from this realistically, because this is important stuff. And I think we should talk about this stuff more often. If you like the content that I produced today, please feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe to the damn thing and help a brother out. And if this is stuff that you want me to talk about more in the future, like, let me know, man, because I would love ideas. I would love topics to reach a broader audience with my podcast. With that said, I've been Neo Starling. You're all awesome. And don't ever, ever let anyone tell you different. Signing off.